Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our very first video mailbag. And our very first question is, what's a video mailbag? And the idea of a video mailbag, you probably actually, if you spend any time online, are already familiar with. It's a sort of a chance for me to respond to people's questions in our online groups without us having to actually be together in real time. So while this particular video mailbag is going to be based on three frequently asked questions as opposed to individual questions, once we get into the program, into the invitation, the responses will be directly to things that you write in the group. So this particular form of our video mailbag may change. This is our first iteration. This is playing with a way it might look, and it may wind up looking exactly like this going forward, or the look may change, but the idea will stay the same. I'm going to go through your shares. I'm going to go through your insights. I'm going to go through your questions a couple times each month of the program. And I'm going to pick out the ones that I think are worth answering for the whole group. So I'm going to do my best to respond directly and answer your question, but I am going to do it in a way that may go beyond the original scope of your question if I think it's going to be something that's going to be helpful to the group. So what's really helpful is you asking the questions you actually want answers to. And that way I can do my best to keep on track. So we'll obviously also be getting together, for 90 minutes at a time each month, but this is just a way to stay responsive. Question number 2 for our first video mailbag. What do you mean by an invitation? I love the word invitation. I love getting invitations. I don't say yes to a lot of invitations because sometimes, especially now with I get LinkedIn, I seem to get a lot of invitations on LinkedIn. So it's not not at that level. But for me, an invitation is the most respectful way to open up a conversation about something that seems worth conversing about. So I can sit down and in one of the classes I was teaching, I talked about the difference between an invitation and an admonition. So an admonition is, you need to get this. An invitation is, hey, would you be interested in getting this, exploring this, joining this? The thing about an invitation is built into it is the opportunity to say no. So it doesn't start with an assumption, you need this. It starts with an assumption, you might really love this. You might get a lot of it. So the invitation to awaken, to wake up, is an invitation to wake up to the dream of thought, to wake up from the nightmare, the daymare of some of our habitual, unpleasant, restrictive, scary, overwhelming thinking. When people wake up to the fact of thought, when they wake up to, oh God, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. There's a built-in release. There's a built-in relaxation that starts to come. And it becomes apparent that, oh, I don't have to fix the movie. I don't have to respond to something somebody said to me in a dream. I don't know if you've ever had it where your partner dreamt that you cheated on them in a dream, or you dreamt that your partner cheated on you in a dream, and it was like it became a thing. That's always kind of comical in retrospect, or when you see somebody else going through it, because we get it. It was a dream. It didn't really happen. Well, that's all thought. That is the world most of us live in most of the time. And when we start to wake up from it's kind of extraordinary the freedom that we feel and the amount of kind of extra time we get because we no longer have to do anything about 95% of what passes through our mind on a daily basis. It's not a, you have to wake up, young woman, young man. It's just, hey, would you like to wake up and see what life is like with less on your mind? The invitation to meet your soul isn't saying, you must meet your soul or you are not a good person or the right way to meet your soul is this. And it's just, hey, there is a part of you. There is a you in you that is already perfect, complete, and whole. It is, in fact, who you are. And it is connected to all of life. It is spiritual in that it is before the form of your particular body, before the form of your particular life experience and character. I was an actor for many years. Characters are things you play. And if you've played the same character for a long time, it starts to feel like a second skin. But it is a second skin. It is not who you are. And when we meet our soul, when we meet ourselves, we're inevitably delighted because it's like, oh, it feels like coming home at the end of a long day and going, oh, hello, you. Oh, yeah, I'm back. All of those kinds of phrases are the feeling. They're an attempt to express the feeling of meeting your soul. And if you've already met your soul, if you already have met you, then you get to spend more time. There's an invitation to spend more time being who you already are. And the invitation to live an impossibly wonderful life. See, I've always thought I'm in the wonderful life business. That's what it is to me to be a coach. And what it used to look to me like was, a wonderful life is a life that has all these things in this amount, in this place. I went to see a comedian last night, Ron Funches, and he had a whole routine about how he knew he was successful because he said, I have 7 full-size arcade games in my house, and I know that's a lot because I bet it's more than you have. Like that used to me look like what a wonderful life was. Not the arcade games, but stuff, situations, circumstances. What I've come to see is that a wonderful life really is a life filled with wonder, where I get so much from every experience that I don't need more and more to love the life I have. Why impossibly? Isn't that greedy? No, impossibly just means, see, things look impossible because we don't think we can have them. We don't think it can feel the way we would love to feel all the time. So impossibly wonderful is just a way of saying most people have learned to play small, not just with stuff, but with experience. And go, well, I can feel happy. Apparently Sid had a family member who used to say to him, Sid Banks, the teacher, the articulator of the principles that I share in my work. And she would say, well, I can see being happy maybe once or twice a month, but anything more than that is ridiculous. To that person, to feel happy most of the time would seem impossible. But not only is it possible, it's kind of wonderful. And so the invitation to live an impossibly wonderful life is not a, you need to change the life you have and your life isn't good enough and you need to, it's, no. It's an invitation, not an admonition. The invitation to live an impossibly wonderful life is literally what it says. It's like, hey, would you like to feel the way you want to feel more of the time? Would you like a deeper experience of life? Would you like more of the stuff of life you'd like? Let's play. The third question in our first video mailbag is, well, the program doesn't start till September. What do I do until then? Well, there are some things you can do, and probably the most basic one is stay tuned, because I'm going to keep dropping little quotes, poems, videos as they occur to me into the group, just to sort of attune the senses, like in if you go to a really nice restaurant, they'll often bring something out before whatever it is that you've ordered. They call it an amuse-bouche, which to amuse the mouth, and it just kind of awakens your palate. So I'm gonna be sending out lots of little palate awakeners, so that by the time we get to our conversation, we're already kind of all primed and ready for the first invitation in September. But the other thing that I would suggest, I would invite you to consider, and it really is an invitation, not an admonition, is what do you already see? Like, look in the direction of waking up. What does that mean to you? What do you see as possible? Go exploring if you're drawn to. What have other people said about waking up in a spiritual sense? Check out what to meet my soul. Like, and don't get locked into one person's explanation of it or definition of it and go, oh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Just explore it for yourself. See what it means to you. What does it evoke in you when I say, I'm going to invite you to meet your soul? And then spend some time playing with the idea of living an impossibly wonderful life. Does that feel like pressure? Like, oh God, I've got to live an impossibly wonderful life. My life's not enough. Or does it feel like an opening to possibility? Does what if your life just expanded, but it took no more from you to do it? It wasn't your job to expand it. It was just the nature of life to expand when we let it. And then the final thought that I have till next we speak is, are you up for accepting the invitation before we even begin? Because the moment you accept the invitation, now you've accepted the invitation to come talk about accepting the invitation because you're here. But what if you accept the invitation to wake up before we've even formally done it? What if you accept the invitation to meet your soul, even if you have no idea how you would go about doing that? What if you accept the invitation to live an impossibly wonderful life? And if that sounds like a good idea, I can pretty much tell you that the program begins the moment you accept the invitation, even before we get together and speak. Have fun, learn heaps. I hope you enjoyed our first video mailbag, and I'll talk to you soon.